We're here to declare the victory of the Lord this morning. You need to see your problem from His perspective. It's already been defeated. You got to see your battleground from a place of crossing the finish line, looking back. Do you understand? From God's perspective, look, when you're on the ground, the mountain looks like a mountain.
That's right.
Doesn't it?
It does.
Thank you. When you're in the spirit, when you're in the heavens, and you look at that same mountain, it looks like something small. It don't look like a mountain anymore. What the Spirit of God is telling me to tell you guys, the problems that you're facing that look like mountains aren't mountains. They just appear mountains when you're on the ground. I'm talking about transitioning in your heart and mind and get. You see, this was such a blessing from the Lord because all of us ascended. You're all in the air right now. I mean, this was. Thank you, worship team, by the way. But thank you, God. That there wasn't an added grace in the service this morning from the love and compassion of the Father to lift us up into the heavens so that we can see the battles that we're facing and what one another are facing from His perspective. And what I heard the Spirit of God tell me, He said, declare the victory of the Lord. Declare the end from the beginning. God calls those things that are not as though they are already. Romans chapter 4. But you see, listen to me. That is true if that's true if you're standing on the ground. That's what it looks like when you're in the flesh. The carnal mind sees it as God's calling something as if that doesn't exist as if it does. Do you understand? But when you get in the Spirit, you find out that He's calling the thing that is already. Why it's so important to ascend the hill of the Lord and get in the Spirit, because when you're standing on the earth, when you're looking at your problem from a natural perspective, it looks like, because God will talk crazy. All hell breaking loose, and you get in the God's like, you're fine. I had a man who he had a $1 million debt he had to pay. It was a minister. By 8 a.m. that morning. And he didn't have it. And he's up. Good God. Are you with me? He's up early hours of the morning, marching up and down his room, praying in strong Chinese tongues. Stressed out, sweating, freaking out. I can't pay this bill. We're going to lose our building. You know what I'm saying? And he's praying in strong Chinese tongues, right? And the Holy Ghost, that's just what we say when someone's praying in tongues hard. You know what I'm saying? Like a Bruno. Praying in tongues. Listen, you know what else to do? That's what tongues is for. Those of you who haven't been filled in the Spirit, you're missing out. I don't know about you, but I can't figure it all out with 4% of my brain. You can't think your way out of this. You've been trying. Where did it lead you? Depression. Discouragement. Wanting to quit. It looks impossible from an earthly standpoint. From the carnal man's perspective. Ascend out of your natural state. Consider that man already dead. In the Spirit you will see that what God is saying is true. So God says to this man that's marching up and down, he hears in his spirit, the Lord says, what can you do between now and 8 a.m. to resolve this situation? He said, nothing. The Lord said, go back to bed. That's hard. Read, what's it?
Which of you, by worrying, can add
one cubit to your stature? Anxiety. Bible says, be anxious for nothing. Hey, listen. Either it's 2 or 8 a.m. He's literally telling you that there is nothing you have to worry about in your life. Go ahead. He's literally, you go, but it doesn't look that way. I don't care what it looked like. The temporary is passing away. That which is permanent and true, the real foundation is going to, you see, it's already there. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. You're already blessed. Yes. The breakthroughs, it's a finished work. That's the good news. Yeah. The good news is Jesus ran the race. He won. He defeated sin. And there's nothing separating you from God. And there's nothing separating you from your blessing. Yeah. And sometimes, in the Spirit, taking a nap is saying more than you marching up and down in the morning at 3 a.m. praying in strong Chinese tongues.
That's true. That's true.
Amen. That's true.
Jesus is in the midst of a Euroclydon storm. Say Euroclydon.
Euroclydon.
That's what the Bible says. You know how you find a word, you're like, where can I use that? I just like ubiquitous. Euroclydon. The Euroclydon storm wasn't your average storm. It wasn't your run-of-the-mill rain on the ocean. Okay? It was a hurricane. Some translations translate it that way. Euroclydon is basically a hurricane. You right? Things are going. Listen, he's on a boat with fishermen. This is their profession. This is what they do for a living. They live out at sea. And they come to Jesus, who's asleep.
Wow.
On a pillow in the middle of a hurricane. On a boat with professionals united and in agreement. We are going down. They said to Jesus, hey, SHIT's going down. This thing's going to, listen, we're all dead. They thought they were going to die.
Wow.
That's what they were thinking.
That's what they were thinking. Jesus is asleep at the stern of the boat, wakes him up. Whoa, what's going on? And what's the first thing he says? He rebukes them for their unbelief. You see, this is what I've learned to do in my life. Can I give you a key? Many of you doing it already. Some of you have never done this. Some of you need to live by this. Any situation I go through, personal and for others, for my family and my friends and loved ones, the first thing I do when I'm faced with a trial, a problem, a difficulty, an issue, I find out, is Jesus asleep on my boat? What's his disposition? What he doing? Is he awake, walking up and down my spirit, shut down, praying in strong Chinese tongues, freaking out, anxious? Oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're sinking, we're sinking. Is that his disposition? Or is he resting?
Good God.
Wow.
And this is the rest that remains for the people of God. There is a rest that remains for the people of God. There is a rest that is permanent for you and I, and it's part of our inheritance. So when I face a storm, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how big it is, how intimidating it is, how close it is, how long it's been. If Jesus is asleep on my boat, if he's resting in my spirit, situation.
Yes.
Now, to a carnal man who's watching this happen, it's going to look like I'm calling those things that are not as if they were already. That carnal man over here is going to judge it naturally.
Come on.
Well, I don't know what you're doing. They're going to say this. You're in denial, sir. You need to be institutionalized.
Yes.
You're not acknowledging reality. No, you're not acknowledging the true reality.
Yes.
But to this man over here, who's in the Spirit on the Lord's day,
Yes.
who's ascended the hill of the Lord and is facing their giant in the Spirit, and they look at what I'm doing, they're going to see that I'm calling those things that are already. And by my agreement with the word of the Lord, I'm bringing it into manifestation. This is a time. Did you feel the militancy in the atmosphere this morning?
Yes.
It was part of a lot of things that were going on. But there was a militancy. Your problem, man, okay.
Hallelujah.
Are you flowing with me?
Wait.
Is a small thing.
Yes.
It's a very small thing. If you see it in the Spirit, you'll see it that way. The mountains from a bird's eye view don't look like mountains. Ever flown on a plane and looked outside? It just looked like, oh, what's going on there? It looked like a little path going up a hill. Not too bad. That ain't too shabby. I'm not, listen to me. I am and I'm not. I'm not trying to belittle what you're going through in the sense of I feel for you. Okay? That we need to have compassion for one another.
Yes.
But I do want to belittle the problem in your mind.
Yes.
Because it's not as big as you're giving it credit for. You're giving your problem too much credit. His name is above every name. What name will the name of the Lord bow to in your life? Good God. What's bigger than God?
Right.
Woo! Who can stand against the Lord?
Hallelujah.
No one. No sickness. No death. No poverty. No shame. Your sin could not stop God from saving your life. Stop acknowledging the problem. Acknowledge your God.